Hey, Randy, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes, we can.
Okay.
Everything good?
Can you still hear me?
Yes.
Yep.
Really good.
Then it's all hooked up.
Can
Cool.
you hear us? Can you hear
Yeah.
me?
Oh, yeah.
Um, hey, Mark. I'm sorry. Brian,
Yeah.
did you interview me a while back?
Yes, I did.
What, 12 years ago or something?
Yes. Yes.
What?
Definitely. Yeah.
What? It wasn't like this, though.
Oh no no.
It was in the olden days.
It could have been audio. I mean, our
It
site's
was
been around since.
on the phone or something?
Yeah. Our site's been around about 2005. So like we first started with just text, and what was
Wow.
a pain in the ass was when I did audio, it would go to cassette, and now I have to listen to the cassette and type like everything really fast and stuff like that. I'm glad this stuff works better now, much better, So
Okay.
cool. So how you guys doing? Dark Mile, man. Everybody
Great. Excellent.
Here we are.
Get better.
cool. I listened to the album 2 times more this morning. Phenomenal album. I mean, there's really no fillers, no letdowns, things listening to. I went down to every album, every song, what I really liked a lot, and comparisons in my mind, and you'll hear that in a little while. But the album comes out July 12th on Pride and Joy Music from Germany. Tell me, why did you guys pick Pride and Joy? They're really doing a phenomenal job too with signing bands.
I could probably speak a little bit about this because I have some experience with Bridget from Pride and Joy before.
Right.
She also owns a promotional company called Your Musica.
Right. Yes.
And I did a project that was on AOR Heaven, which AOR Heaven, of course, is no more because George Monica decided to retire.
Right.
And some of the AOR Heaven bands are coming over to Pride and Joy,
Right.
which is happening too. And it's certainly, I think, the relationship between Bridget and Your Musica and the fact that she promoted AOR Heaven bands, factors in.
Right.
And I think most of the bands know she works really hard to promote. Right. And we like that aspect of it because you just got to get the word out.
Right. Yeah. And that's not easy with the amount of bands that are out there. Like I was telling other people, I get 200-300 emails a day of bands needing press or noticed, so it's not easy. And, you got to have a wide variety and a lot of publicity going with you. I guess Facebook helps a lot, Instagram and all them other platforms. They got to help a little bit, but still with so much going on with so many bands, you just got to get noticed. And I noticed you guys once, it was sent over to me, and like I listened to the album, I said, "Oh, I got to get in touch with them guys." They give them a chat and stuff like that. So here we are. We got Mark, we got Tracy, we got Paul, we got Randy, we got everybody, and me. So like, okay, let's go down like the album first. Before I get started, Mark, how do you keep your voice so in tuned without like all these other singers losing their voice or nodes or whatever? And man, listen to the album. You're great, man. Really good.
Sounds like a kid, huh?
It's really good,
Hey, listen, I think taking care of your instrument, is a
Right.
big part of it, even though I had some time off. And so I feel like it gets better all the time, especially when I get to stay active in music doing this with these guys. So
Right.
guys limit.
Cool. It's really good. I'm very happy with your voice. It's
Thank you very much.
Reminiscent of a lot of things I heard in the past and stuff like that, and I really enjoyed it. So a lot of times you'll have all the music being phenomenal, and then you'll have like a singer that don't agree with me. It may be others, but I just don't click with me. But your voice really does click with me. So
I appreciate it very much.
no problem. Let's go down the tracks first. Let's go track number 1, The Boy. And why'd you guys pick that as the single, or did the record company pick it? Who picked it? Tell me a little bit about it.
The record company picked that one, actually.
Cool. That's okay. Nothing wrong with that.
And we put it early on, other guys can certainly chime in on this too, because I don't want to be the only one. but we thought it was just a good representation of what the project's all about. You know, it's a
Right.
really simple song, and at the same time, it hits pretty hard. You know, the Mark's opening vocal scream gets your attention like immediately.
Right.
So but it felt like a good opener.
Cool. Cool. And
I-
who?
Brian,
Yes.
I'm sorry, I have a question. It's a technical
Go
question.
ahead.
How come, how does the camera change? Like if Mark is talking, it go, you know, the camera's on him.
Right.
I mean, if Paul's talking, the camera's on him. How does it change like that automatically or what?
Oh, yeah. I guess Zoom takes care of that because it just jumped to me. So
Whoever
like,
talks, it shows their face or something?
right. Yeah. It highlights it in yellow, you know?
It's like we've got a cameraman or something.
Yeah. Yeah. And all I
That's
can do
right.
is,
It's the virtual cameraman.
yeah, it's
Yeah,
pretty
I
cool,
just,
no?
no big deal. I'm just trying to learn about all this.
I think everybody's learning, like,
What am I doing? You know, it's like, it's just
Yeah.
weird. Anyway,
yeah,
so
so
that's all.
it's pretty cool. The first one that really, stuck out in my mind was No Deal. I really enjoyed that. I would give
Yeah.
that 5 stars. It's for me,
funny.
and tell me a little bit about that track, No Deal. Who
No
wants to-
deal. No, no deal was like AC/DC influenced.
Right,
The guy that wrote the lyrics is a friend of mine named Mark. Mark Ramlet. He wrote the lyrics to that,
right,
and I guided him. I told him the music. I used to be in a band with Mark years ago, and we did real AC/DC ish.
right,
It was called Riff Raff, the band. So it's that kind of music and it's that kind of riff. And I wrote it, a while back, and I just thought it would fit with, again, what we're doing right now with everybody and Dark Mile, because of the simplicity. I guess our main word we like to use it. Simple, like the first song.
right,
Everything's pretty. We're not trying to rewrite the wheel or anything with the music. You just wanted it straightforward, heavy, good production, nothing that you haven't heard before, but it sounds great
it
to
definitely does.
us. It sounds great, and it's like the kind of music to me that you could, in the olden days, where you could just put it in your van or your car, crank it, and go to the concert, and
Yeah.
No Deal. I mean, No Deal. And plus, I think it's a good message because I'm not big religious guy or anything. I'm not trying to be a Bible thumper or anything, but it is saying I'm not going to make any deal
Right,
with the devil, which is, I think, a positive thing to say. That's all. We're trying to make all the songs are pretty positive.
Cool.
I think we're not singing about, negative stuff, I don't think,
right.
so it's just real positive and it's real powerful and it's very simple to play. I mean, that's why, I added it in. The guys made whatever changes they wanted to change. I really like the bass.
Uh-huh.
The bass run, Randy changed, like he put some stuff in there that was never in there, which I really like. It's like a climb on the bass. I really noticed it the other day because I've been listening into it with my truck. Like every day I listen to this music. So I'm hearing all these things too, but so everybody's added their thing. I think Mark did a great job on it. Everybody, so
Cool,
I
cool,
don't know if I'm answering your question. But
yeah. Now, Randy, first off, thanks for the guitar picks. And
Oh, you're welcome.
yeah, I see acoustic guitars behind you. You play acoustic too, besides bass?
I started on guitar actually, but one of those frustrated guitar players who switched to bass early in his career.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
What's more difficult?
Well, at the time, the guitar player I was playing with was so advanced. He goes,
Right.
"If you want to be in my band, you better play bass." So I switched to bass.
Now, Paul, can you tell me anything about I Can't Help You, the third track?
Yeah, so that song was, we all submitted some songs. That one, I guess, I started with it, and then the guys also came up with their parts. And when it came to writing the lyrics for it, for some reason that whole "I can't help you if you don't help yourself"
Right.
idea came about, and it's kind of true. A lot of people, I think, are looking for somebody else to fix the problem.
Right.
But the reality is, you gotta kind of go and look at yourself and say, "Hey, I gotta try and fix the problem myself." So
Right. Yeah.
that's kind of the message of that tune is, I can't help you, don't help yourself.
Right. 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 Now, track number 4 is an instrumental, and for me particular, listening to it kind of reminded me of a song called "Star Rider" by Foreigner, and
I
that
love it.
really is that what you thought too?
No, I know that song. I like that
Uh,
song.
yeah, me too. And I that's the feeling I got, me personally, when I heard that. And
Kind of, it's kind of a
uh-huh.
floaty kind of song. What
Right.
little
Yeah.
what riff that it is to me, yeah.
Cool. Cool. And who wrote that?
Tracy,
I wrote that, but just to say something about the writing on Dark Mile, it's a real almost everything we do
Right.
in the band is like I write some stuff, Paul writes some stuff, Randy writes some stuff. We hand it over to Mark, and then Paul guides Mark on what they do the vocals and stuff together. But I mean, it's really a group thing, and some pieces I wrote, some pieces Paul wrote,
Right.
and some pieces Randy wrote. We glue them together. It's a real group. It's
Right.
just weird. We don't get it. We've never been in the same room together and played.
Right.
It's always just, we met Mark once
Uh-huh.
in this whole 2-year thing we've been doing. Physically met him once, saw him playing in his atomic punk band
Right.
when he was doing the Sammy Hagar thing.
Right.
And
Yeah.
and that's where we met him. But I mean, it's such a weird kind of project where we're not in the same room. Mark's in a different state right
Right.
now. I mean, and here we are doing it still. It's a
Cool.
weird. It's
Cool.
cool.
and yet the goal, Brian, was obviously to make it sound like a band.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah. Make
and
it
a
sound
ton
like
of projects are done this way these days. I mean, we are certainly not the only guys working remotely.
Right.
But
No.
I mean, obviously, it's the power of technology that we're able to do this, and that be able to exchange files and work on a project. So it's great to be able to work with Mark on this, because obviously with him in another state, it's the only way we can do it.
Yeah. Yeah. Most bands do it that way on WAV files and stuff like that.
Yep.
So you don't foresee any live shows coming, right?
But that's a great question. And I've said this before, and I don't mean to again speak for the guys, but obviously Tracy has toured the world in a proper way with
Right.
a large act.
Right.
Mark's done the same. So I, the idea of getting in a van and driving across the country, probably not.
Right.
But if a show came up that made sense,
Right.
I don't think we're certainly not opposed to doing it.
Right. Yeah.
And sometimes the label is able to do those kinds of things. They'll find a festival that's got an opening slot, or I go on the Monsters of Rock cruise every year, and that's an interesting one because there's a built-in audience there. I
Right.
mean, that cruise sells out because there's also big name acts on that cruise, but there's also newer bands. That's one thing they've started to do, is to include some bands that aren't a household name.
Right. Cool. Cool. Mark, was there any songs on this album that were challenging for you?
I think every single one of them was,
Yeah.
as far as the keys and
Huh.
just listen. Paul was great help. As far as giving the examples and
Uh-huh.
what we were reaching for ultimately. So I think every single one of them was a challenge, but it's been a pleasure. So
And
Right.
me personally, when I hear the final thing, I always say to myself, it's what I imagined kind of in my head.
Right.
And I don't know how Mark and Paul kind of do that with. We know we do it with the music because we do the music, but as far as the vocal, Mark to me is amazing that he could take direction from Paul and then Paul has a way of like whatever doing it with him.
Right.
For me, when I hear him, I tell Paul usually it's what I heard in my head better.
Cool.
I mean, it's just I don't know. That's how I feel.
Yeah. I mean, me listening as a listener, like I said, there's really no songs that are fillers or letdown to me.
No,
'Cause
nothing feels like a filler.
no, not at all.
They're all songs that can stand on their own 2 feet, so to speak. I think
Right.
I think that too, because I've listened to the CD in my truck 50 times
Right.
since I got a copy of it.
Right.
And I really got to hear the whole thing, all the songs, all the parts. Each song's its own thing.
Right.
It's not just one good song.
Right.
No. The whole thing is great as far as I'm concerned.
And it is really too, Brian. It's funny, as we put this thing together, obviously we're working on song by song, and until you actually get the CD, it can sit down in one listen.
Right.
It's kind of like the first time listening to it that way.
Right.
It's
Yeah.
so piecemeal before, but yeah, and a few people have said, it's a really well-paced record. Each song seems to, be in the right spot.
Right. Definitely. And the next song is Anybody Listening, which is another 5-song star song for me. Can you tell me anything about that track?
That song, you talking about Listen?
Yeah. Is
Yeah.
anybody listening?
Anybody listen? It's a strong song. It's a strong lyrical message
Right.
for me. And just when the chorus hits, it's telling a story,
Right.
The song's telling a story. And when that chorus hits, it's just so right. I don't know how that happened. It's been a while since wrote that, but
Wow.
I don't know. That song's just big.
Right. Yeah.
It's just and the message and what he's saying, and Mark Bramlett again helped me write the verse. I wrote the chorus for that. Listen, but this guy Mark Bramlett wrote the verse for No Deal and Listen, and I just told him what I kind of was looking for, what I want to sing about,
Right.
and he came up with those lyrics. But it's a strong song. It's not. I don't know. I feel good about that one and all of them. But they're all different. They're not all exactly the same. If you
Right.
notice, it's not just the same song we re-recorded and
Right.
No, they're individual songs.
Cool. Now the next.
We also snuck some keys on that one, Brian. Let's see. Well, there's not a ton of keyboards on the song.
Yeah.
But that one got them, and it makes the song bigger.
Paul's a keyboard player guy. But it's real subtle, but it's beautiful. It helps add that little thing that you need for that other song. We have a song called, I think, Games.
That's next. Yeah.
Oh, Games is next song. Yeah, and it's kind of like a ballad, I guess. And
Yeah. That's what yeah.
but it's got a little bit of the key thing going too. A lot of them do.
Wow. When the songs come to you, Mark, and I guess whoever gives you the lyrics, how do you break them songs down in your head where to make breaks and through your vocals, how do you figure everything out?
Paul's he's a great teacher on a lot of this stuff because he's found a way to bridge the gap of distance, it's about communication and stuff. When we get right to every song we've done, we've taken from a different direction, from chorus to verse, from verse to chorus. And anyway, we've had to put it together to make it work out. So Paul helps me a lot. And basically once I get all the lyrics and I hear, sometimes I get snippets of original ideas of these songs, you know what I mean?
Right.
And then I kind of do what I do to it. You know what I mean? And it's like, I try to, as far as being a singer, I think it's trying to tell a story, even if it's a small one, even if it's a little bit and stuff, but it's about bringing some emotion to it and legible so you can hear it. You know what I mean? I think that,
I think that's where our years of individual experience comes in. Like It's just like Mark, was just saying, Paul does what he does with him, and then his talent just kicks in to like, what should he do and how should he sing it? And, you know, whatever he's been through, whatever he's learned, it just kicks in. And same thing with me and Randy, you know, when we do a song and we record in my studio and Paul records in his studio.
Right.
And we send stuff back and forth to each other and fill in whatever needs to be fixed. But the years that Paul has been a musician, or Randy, or Mark, or myself, it's in there. So
Right.
it just automatically kicks in to help us do what we're trying to do, I guess.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. The next track is He Said, She Said. Can you tell me anything about that track?
That was the very first track we tried Mark out. Really, I mean, let's see what he could do with a song, and that was the first song. And once we heard that, we just looked at each other and we knew that's the guy.
Right. Yeah.
Because see, that song was written already a while back, a little bit. I wrote it, and I knew how I wanted the vocals, and it was better than what I want. When I heard it, when he finally did it, and I heard the final thing, me and Paul and Randy just looked at each other and said, "Fuck, that's it." That's it.
It kind of a little King's X-ish feel almost to it.
Right. Wow.
What's that?
I said that one's got kind of almost a little bit of a King's X feel to it.
It does.
Yeah.
Great riff.
With a crazy singer. I mean, just
Right.
I mean, and Paul pulled that out of him a second. He's like, some of those high notes, I'm just like, what?
Yeah.
Like, when it's the first time we heard him. It's the first time we really heard him, other than on other things, but on our own stuff.
Right.
We said, let's make a whole record like that.
Cool.
That basically off that song,
Right.
all these songs came around and wrote some of them fresh, had some laying around, combination of everything. Paul's songs are new, Paul's songs are older songs he had. Same with me and Randy. We wrote some together. We had some already. You know, it's a combination, but now with Mark's voice in mind. See,
Right.
If he did that to He Said, She Said, he could sing anything.
Right. Yeah.
Anything we give him. So that's how I looked at it. And I still look at it. He could sing anything we hear in our head, and then the guy does.
Right. Wow.
We call him the voice. He's the voice. Yeah.
Hey, listen, and Paul he's a great communicator between all of us this way, because he knows Tracy better than I on those levels of writing songs and ideas and what they actually want to hear between, Randy and everyone. It's like it's all about communication and stuff. And Paul has simplified a lot of that stuff, because then I don't have to I can give him a whole plate full of my own personal ideas towards the idea, but Paul gives us a direction and stuff based on, how it needs to sound. And so, it's a collaborative thing, and it's, you know what I mean?
And it's about knowing what you want, like knowing what do I hear in this song? Oh, I don't know. Oh, if you don't know, if you kind of know, and we kind of know what we want to hear in this song, especially with a voice like that.
Right. Yeah.
Our imagination can go, and his Mark too, he had, like you say, his, and then Paul gives him a direction. It's all about communication and respect, like we said in the very beginning, with all four of us, and we trust each other that you're gonna put in, because we're not in the same room.
Right.
I mean, we're all over the place, so it sounds like to me like we're in the same studio, the same town, the same room, and we're not. But
it's been a blast.
And I'll just say, Mark is being very humble. I give him very rough outlines of stuff, and then say, do your thing. And what we get back is always dramatically better than anything I came up with. So, credit where credit is due.
It's always better than what it's what I hear in my head, but better. I'm just like, just keep feeding this guy stuff.
Right, yeah, yeah.
Because it's like, it just,
Here.
I don't want to say it keeps getting better because it's already better, but you know.
Right, yeah. Wow, wow. Was Mark always the main focus of the vocalist that you wanted?
Yeah, well, we initially tried out a few different people, but there's no question. When we heard that voice, we went, that is the right voice for this project.
Right.
Yeah,
Because an awful lot of guys sounded like an awful lot of other guys.
Right, yeah.
Mark does not sound like an awful lot of other guys.
No.
So, I mean,
Well,
if
we-
you're
we
going
heard
to
a
try
couple-
and put something together with uniqueness, got to have a voice that's unique.
there
Right,
was
yeah.
a couple other voices that we heard, you know, and they were good and stuff. They were good. It didn't probably knock us out, but Mark knocked us in the face.
Right, yeah.
He knocked us out. You know, his voice was better than good on. He said, she said. That's all we had to go by. That, you know, we liked the song.
Right.
They fixed up the lyrics because my lyrics were kind of goofy that I wrote. I'm not Mr. Lyric Writer, but sometimes I try to do my best. But they fixed them up, and he just put them across like, "What, man? You know, like."
Right,
So
yeah.
it is what it is. Yeah.
Cool,
Yeah,
cool.
when me and Tracy heard after he sung the
Right.
song, we had smiles from here to here.
Wow. I
Knew
bet.
that was the voice.
Yeah, definitely, definitely.
Which
Especially,
will
go ahead,
people-
especially
people
since,
think the same thing, you know. Hopefully the
Go
people that hear don't do the same thing, you know. Like
Right.
hopefully what it did for whatever you thought when you heard it. You know?
right, definitely, definitely. Cool, cool. I mean, like, his vocals blew me away. You know, listening to
Good,
it. And plus I kept on raising the volume on my speakers.
That's what I was just going to say. It makes me want to. It's hard for me to listen to it low and much. It's going to be
Yeah.
fucking loud because it's rock. It's
Yeah,
you call it heavy metal, hard rock, whatever you want to call it. It's hard rock to the fullest, and it's like we grew up on. Crank it, you know, like you know, AC/DC kind of music, just like.
right,
What do you want to do with that? You don't want to listen to it low. You know, you crank. Back and Back comes on. And you want to crank. That they play and they wrote, they write that band. I'd love to be even just a piece of that kind of band, just a rock band. Now here, turn the fucking shit up, turn it up and go. It's not supposed to make you think so much about what key are they in, what mode are they in, what effects, and just rock.
right.
Boy who wants to rock.
Cool, cool. So what are your hopes for this album right now?
That the audience, you know, what it does to the audience, you know.
Right.
And that's what talking to someone like you and a few other people that we did a few podcasts, and we saw one guy that was listening to the boy. He was kind of like giving a review on the song and what it was doing to him, and he was playing air guitar and acting all goofy, and it was making him, he was feeling it, you know, and that's my dream, to make, hopefully everybody gets it. As many people, you know, they get it and they feel it, because it's just, it's real simple. It's not stuff you got to go to school for.
Right.
know,
Yeah.
And learn all this technical stuff. It's just guitar driven.
Right.
And I gotta give props to, you know, our producer, Paul. I mean, he mixed that shit. It's just, but then the bass is bigger than any other album I've ever heard. The bass is thick.
Right.
And then Mark's on top of the whole thing. And then the drums are there. Our drummer's immaculate because he's never late. Shows up every day.
Right.
You don't even have to give him a name. He's just
Never
computer,
argues.
you know, computer drummer. And for now, I mean, so we just have to rely on each other. We got it.
Right.
If we ever play live, we just hire one of these monster drummers, and we know quite a few, you know.
Right. Wow. So, have you got any feedback from other platforms, from people about the album?
Actually, we have. There's a couple of reviews. I actually just found one this morning. It's 3 days old. and it got a 9 out of 10, almost perfect, they call it.
Wow.
Which I thought amazing, you know, and obviously when you do something like this, you feel good about it. You think these are good tunes. I think, you know, Mark's singing his ass off. It's, you know, but you never know how it'll be, you know, received.
Right.
But
Yeah.
so far,
Right.
well received.
Cool. Well, you guys, congratulations on the new album. Phenomenal. Mark, you did a kick-ass job. So did everybody else.
Yeah,
Tracy,
all of it.
it's good talking to you
Thanks.
again. Would
Thanks,
you
Brian.
guys like to say anything to the fans out there? Want to start, Mark? You want to say anything?
Listen, thanks for having us. And July 12th,
Yep.
the drop of the album, Dark Mile. Check it out for yourself.
How
Yeah,
about you, Randy?
I just say, is anybody listening? That's all we want is for people to listen to it.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
hope they appreciate it.
Cool.
A lot of
How
work
about
went into it.
you? How about you, Paul?
Yeah, if everybody just checks that out, I think there's something in it for everybody. It's such a straight ahead, you know, hard rock record that I think everybody can relate to. You know, sounds a little bit like the 80s and yet at the same time has a bit of a modern twist to it. So I you know, we're hoping to cut through the noise with it.
And how about you, Tracy?
Yeah, the same as everybody else. And the first song we picked, the first song, The Boy, because it's like we said, simple and in your face, and not hard to get.
Right.
Almost like a beginner riff. Dun, 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 dun. It's like I've been playing for 2 weeks. Riff. So what?
Yeah.
It was recorded, and the sound of those guitars is just stupid. Good luck getting a guitar tone. All you great guitar players out there, great. Be great. Get a tone. Get a sound. Let us feel it. But what we're excited about, or what I'm excited about, I should say, that's just one song.
Right.
On the 12th, the whole album, everybody could hear the whole album. And I think there's 12 boys on that album, if you know what I mean.
Right.
You know,
Definitely.
every song is as good as The Boy to me.
Right. Yeah.
They're different, but they're as punchy, you know, like just to name a couple more songs that we didn't talk about.
Right. Definitely.
United we stand.
Right.
Give me a break. I mean,
Yeah.
that's like the heaviest song. I mean, that's one of my favorite songs, but I like them all.
Right.
Or
Yeah.
maybe on a Sunday, and a silly song.
Right.
But I mean, the guitars and the sound of that song is just stupid.
Cool.
So good luck, you know, with the whole album. I'm
Right.
excited I'm excited for everybody to hear all of them, because The Boy it's not just The Boy.
Right.
I love that song, and I'm so proud that it's there, and it's just such a simple song, and
Right.
it's the way all rock music should be to me. That's just you know, simple. Like
Yeah.
it's you know, it doesn't take, you know, there's all kinds of people, there's all kinds of people like Rush, and there's all kinds of music and technical music, and that's all great. But I just think majority of us, or people, or rock fans, it's just simple.
Right. Cool.
Just don't make me think too much. Just make me rock.
Right. Yeah. Wow.
That's
Okay.
it.
Cool. Congratulations, you guys. Great album. I'll talk to you later. Thank you.
Thank you, Brian. Appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
Thank you,
Bye
Brian.
bye.
All right, take care.
Later.
Okay.